In this tutorial, we're going to talk about sharing value sets. Sharing value sets is a standard developed by IHE and is one of the new standards that's part of ihris 4.2. So sharing value sets from IHE is a way of sharing metadata between different parts of the health information system. So for example, you would want to share the list of cadres or facility types or jobs in IRIS with another system such as DHIS2 or OpenMRS or RapidSMS. Sharing value sets is a standard way of exchanging that metadata. It includes both an XML format for formatting the data as well as a REST and SOAP based API for making that data available. So as part of the 4.2, there's some new features under the configure system. One of those new features is for defining the shared value sets. A shared value set is based on a list. So any of the lists that you have in IRIS, you can use as a shared value set as a basis for them. So let's just start with the job list as an example. So we've now selected that we want to publish or create a shared value set on the job list. The only thing that we need to do is to choose an OID or object identifier. And this link, which is a Wikipedia link, it discusses what an object identifier is. Essentially, it's as the example shows us, it's a sequence of numbers separated by dots. There is some rule about what you're allowed to choose as an object identifier. You can't choose anything. Typically, what you would want to do is to see if there's a registration authority for object identifiers in your country, and make a request from them to have an OID for your list. Since this is just a sample, we will not use a registration authority, but just make up an OID. Let's call it 9.8.7.6. So once we've selected the list and chosen an OID, we click Update, and now we've got our shared value set should be available under our existing shared value sets. We scroll down and we see we have 9.8.7.6, which is the shared value set, the identifier for the shared value set that we've created. We've got three things here. We've got the ability to edit some configuration, which we'll get to in a second. The ability to publish the shared value set. So once we've constructed and defined the shared value set, we want to actually publish it based on the data that's in the list in IRIS. As in this example, we have jobs, and as we add new jobs or change the name of a job, we would want to republish our shared value set, which would increase its version number and share the new information for that shared value set. The second link we have is to how to retrieve it, and we'll show that once we've published. But once clicking on the retrieve link will pull up the XML document for the shared value set, and that retrieve link is the one that's shown just below. This is the link that you would share with other systems in your health information system if they would want to retrieve the list of jobs or cadres from IRIS. They would need an account to log in, and we can use basic authorization, basic HTTP authorization to allow those systems to access these lists. Looking at the configuration, we see for the list that we just created, we see that we do have the list selected job. We also have a default to not include any of the hidden jobs. So as you retire, decide not to use a job anymore in your system, you mark them as hidden, and by default, when you create the shared value set from that job, those hidden members will not be included. The other two options that are under here are a limit clause, so you can add additional limits. So, for example, not just that they're not hidden, but if you were making a shared value set on the list of districts in your country, you can make a specific one for this, a shared value set for the districts in a specific region. And this is just the usual limit clause that you would see when you're creating a form relationship. So you can add new limits to the job form if you so desire. Um, the other section includes some metadata information about the shared value set, which we won't look at the moment. So hiding the configuration options for the moment. The next step is to publish the shared value set. And we can see that we've now published our shared value set. We scroll down. Once it's been published, we can retrieve that shared value set. And we see here's the XML file. Here is our object identifier 9.8.76. This is version 1, since this is the first time that we publish this shared value set. This is the display name for that shared value set. It's the job. And then as we scroll down, we see the different elements, the concepts for our shared value set. So here's the display name, say technician, and here's the code, and here's the coding system that's being used, Iris Managed Site Demo. You can change what the coding system that's used in the meta options. You can also change what field from your job form or the whatever list that you're choosing is used for the code, as well as which fields are used for the display name for that. But by default, the shared value set will use the default display for the job or the list for the display name, and it'll look for the code field if there's a code field and use that for the code element.